What's up, everybody? This is Jon Chesbro with the Ebbnflow Podcast, or the Ebbnflow Recording Podcast. I don't know what I'm going to name it, but I want to talk about stuff, and I want it to be music-related or industry-related, entertainment, music, the way the world's going, the way the world is going right now. But you know what? It's the age of the internet, and everyone can have an opinion on here, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Who cares? All right. So that being said, we're going to talk about some industry news and some things that I saw that I think is pretty interesting and things I just want to talk about. These are going to be short. We're not going to make them, you know what I mean? Whatever. This is a very nonchalant thing. Daniel Ek, the CEO and co-founder of Spotify, is stepping down in January. I feel like Spotify has gotten so much heat lately because of like Daniel Ek investing money into like these AI drones, these warmongering things, and it's like you should be reinvesting that money into Spotify. And I always wondered if he put his money that he had in Spotify and put it back into it and like did a payout for artists who are, you know, under a certain amount of streamers or, you know, whatever. You know, I feel like he could have done things to incentivize smaller time artists to make more money, or there's opportunity to make more money. But I feel like he could have definitely just reinvested into the business and not into AI drones for war. Accessibility. Like, how good is it for humans to have easy accessibility to things like music? I think it's kind of crazy that like way back when, even before my time, you kind of had to enjoy music in the sense that you have to go to the store, you have to buy it, you know, you can read all the lyrics, see who's on it, you know what I mean? It's like you're buying a piece of art and then you go home and you listen to the whole thing. If I want to listen to one song on one album from one band that I might never remember again, I can. And maybe that accessibility isn't so great. Maybe we should bring back going back to the record store and like buying a record. That being said, I've noticed a lot of direct to consumer in artists. Like, go to my website and just buy a CD. You know, maybe some musicians are getting lazy. You know what I mean? I know some people who don't want to pay for engineers, and that in turn is gonna, you know, hurt the recording industry. And it already has been. I just saw a video today of this guy, I forget his name, but he's like, I have to get a second job now. I've never not had a job in music. and I've been playing since I was 13, and I'm gonna be 31 in January, so that's kind of crazy. That it like making money in a career in music is becoming harder and harder, you know, and I wonder if it probably is because of the accessibility of it all. You know, it's so accessible. You are the tiniest fish in a large pond with other very tiny fish. There's some huge fish, like Taylor Swift. That's a huge fish. You know, like you're competing against that. You know, it's like, I'm a mom and pop shop and there's a Walmart 2 doors down. That's how it feels like. That's how it's feeling like right now in the industry. And it's becoming more and more difficult to navigate. And now on top of that, we're adding AI to it. We're fighting Walmart, but then we're fighting AI versions of Walmart that have all these resources already. And like, something I just don't understand is like, how can a record label take an AI artist and signed that artist to this AI artist that we signed to a $10 million record deal. I'm like, how are these record labels taking $10 million of their own money and putting it into an account, into a trust fund of that this artist's name is on, and then that $10 million is gaining interest? And, you know, they're washing it through their stocks and their health plans and all that stuff. And like, you know, all these tax benefits. So where that 10 million, is that coming from the label itself? Because when a normal artist gets a $1 million record label, they don't make $1 million. They get loaned $1 million. And then you have to go make $1 million to pay back the $1 million you just made. So now they just took that out. They took the whole loan out, and they're like, you know what? Let's just sign an AI artist for $10 million and transfer that $10 million into an account. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy that that is a thing. So I'm wondering, like, if these AI or these, like, if Sony or anybody, but if a major label signs a multi-million-dollar record label to an artist that doesn't exist, and that it's never a loan, it's just a transfer of assets. So, you know what I mean? It's like taking the person out of the equation, obviously makes them more money. It's obviously going to do more for that brand or that company that's putting that money into an account. So what's going on? Like, how is that? I honestly don't understand, and I have to do more research on how that works. But, like, where's the money coming from, and where is it going? Because the Velvet Underground has, like, millions of streams. They have millions. They're making money. I think if 1 million streams is $4,000 on Spotify. So this band that cannot physically go to a bank and take money out of an account and physically pay taxes to the IRS, where the fuck is that money going? Who's taking that money? Is it the person who made the Velvet Underground? Yeah. But, like, you see that's just like a money machine. It's a money cycle. They squeezed artists so thin, they squeezed us so thin that we have to struggle so hard just to even make a dime. And then they're like, yeah, we don't even need you anymore. We don't even need your art. We can do it ourselves by generating something like you. But now we're going into likeness and trademarks and LLCs, and it's like, well, shit, we better get on that. That direct-to-consumer is going to be really important. And I feel like people are going to start to wake up to that and be like, no, I don't want to give into that AI and actually go with an artist. Or because of that easy transaction of Spotify and making everything so accessible, maybe it won't. You know what I mean? Maybe it'll be harder for that to happen. But also, they can't copyright AI. They can't copyright it. So I don't know, how is that going to work? How is that? If they can't copyright AI, then it can never be in a TV or film unless they change the law. So is it the people holding the gold going to start changing all these laws? I don't know. Maybe it will get harder, or maybe people start boycotting like they started to, and they stopped, using Spotify. They took all their songs down. I even thought about it. I'm still thinking about it. I think it's a valid protest that does hold a ton of weight. And it holds a ton of weight because if we stop using the machine, then the machine stops using us, and then it stops working. I think that has some validity to it. And I think that's something that, us as not as just consumers, but artists who also consume other people's art, we need to wake up and realize, like, do we want to be bitching about this in 10 years? Do we want to be bitching about, I can't make money off me? Like, we're already doing that. Why make it even worse? Not even 10 years, like 2 years down the line. What's going to happen in 2 years down the line? And, I'm thinking right now, I just had a thought in my head that, like, Daniel Ek is going to, like, cash in on some stocks before he steps down. And he's going to be like, all right, I'm stepping down. I'm not the CEO. I'm the executive chairman. So he's really not stepping down. He's stepping down enough to maybe cash in some stocks, take his money, and then what is he going to do with that? Start an AI record label? I don't know. I think that AI record label stuff is, like, where we need to stop. Where we need to stop and think about what we're going to do, because a record label signing an AI artist, where's that money going? Where is it coming from? How is it being collected? These are things that we should talk about. I truly don't understand. Like, if anybody knows, please help me. I don't know how that's working, but it makes me think about it a lot, because I feel like I've struggled to make money in music. I have made money. I've been really fortunate and made really good money. And then I've also been really unfortunate and slept on people's floors and couches and slept in my car. I've had nothing, I've had a lot, and I've been in the middle. So what's going to happen? Do we want to keep bitching about it in 2 years? Probably not. Is protesting the right thing to do, or is it changing the industry in a way where it is more direct to consumer? Like in the 90s, 1 million records sold was $1 million made. That's not it anymore. Like I said earlier, 1 million streams is $4,000. That's like you're taking less than a third of the pie that you made. Why do I need a middleman to distribute my pie if he didn't even make anything? Why can't I just put it on my website or my YouTube channel? Hey, you want to buy it? Cool, give me $2. You can have 10 songs for $2. That's still $2 in my pocket. Or $5 if 5 people bought, or 20 people bought a $5 album and got 10 songs out of it. That's a lot of value, not just for the artist to collect it, but for the person. They just got double the amount of what they paid for. They got a 2-for-1 deal. So I'm just like, you know, why? I'm telling myself, or asking myself this as an artist now, like, why don't I just do that? That's so much, you know, it seems harder to do, but maybe, you know, it's just putting in the work, you know, and I think that's something I'm interested in doing and thinking about, and I want to see where that takes me. You know, maybe it is just putting in that extra work and just taking out that middleman. Like, I got rid of Facebook and Instagram, dude. I got rid of that. I just have YouTube. I don't have TikTok. I don't have nothing. I just have YouTube. Maybe that's the way to go. Let me know what you all think. Let's start a conversation. I think this would be really good. I'm wondering how this is gonna sound. I got fans going in the background. It's probably gonna sound like, but I'm not gonna overthink it. This is the Ebbnflow Recording Podcast. We talk about the good, the bad, and everything in between. So thank you all very much for joining me. Like and subscribe, and see you in the next one. Peace and love.